Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Triguna Sadgurum Tam Namami. Nithyanandam, a warm welcome to all of you who are joining with us on this beautiful Saturday evening. And we all are probably winding down, getting ready for the week ahead, and ensuring that, we have planning ahead, getting ready for Monday morning, and trying to understand, maybe trying to look in for a few brief seconds about our life, sitting down with our families as you are watching this right now. Maybe you're wondering, what is in it in your life? Is life just about what your money can get, how much money you can get, or how much comfort you can buy? Most of us right now are thinking about this level only, wealth and pleasure. But does that really give us what we want in life? Are we fulfilled because we have wealth and pleasure? In Hinduism, there are 4 goals that we always speak about, that we always teach, which is the Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Moksha. Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, beautifully teaches that the 99% of us always focus on Artha and Kama-centric life, which is fueled by wealth and pleasure. And most of us do not seek further than that in our life. We might not even open our eyes up to what might be there. But only when we start infusing Dharma into our life, which is a life of purpose, of having and abiding by the laws of the universe, you can manifest all of your possibilities. You can start gaining wealth through dharmic methods, which is abiding by the laws of the cosmos, laws of karma. And you'll start to understand and take responsibility to a certain level. But then once you infuse moksha into your life, that is when you start manifesting a ultimate supreme consciousness in your life. You start to manifest not just the possibilities, but all of your powers. And you start manifesting what Swamiji and Hinduism teaches as Jivan Mukti, living enlightenment. So today, this beautiful science is what we're going to be understanding. From chronic stress, how can people experience cosmic fulfillment? How can people understand this? Today, joining with me, I am very happy to welcome on the show Ma Nitya Samarpani, who is from New York, a professional therapist who has seen hundreds of people, who has interacted with them and understood what people are going through now, and how exactly Swamiji's teachings are uplifting, are necessary at this time, and how Swamiji, through the United Ancient Nations Summit, is literally giving a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Ma Samarpani has recently been to the UAN Summit in Antigua and Barbuda, and today she's going to be sharing with us. And not only this, she has been around living with, receiving initiations from Swamiji for the last 16 years. So thank you, Ma Samarpani and Nithyanandam, for joining. Thank you so much for joining, Nithyanandam Ma.
Thank you. Well, that was a beautiful introduction. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. So what came to mind immediately when you were speaking is what I see in my own clients, which is a depression of success. Swamiji talks about this because we're very socially conditioned to think that wealth and having all the toys and the pleasures, it's going to fulfill us. When in truth, it's knowing your life purpose and who you really are beyond those things, those materialistic things. And that doesn't mean that, and I think this frightens people, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be giving up all these things. It's really about not believing that they will give you that sense of self, that peace, that inner peace, that feeling of fulfillment. They're never going to give you that. You'll always be running to the next thing and the next thing. And I think what I find in my clients, which is how I myself had my first experience with Swamiji, was having it all as per what you believe is all, right? The big income, the wonderful cars, the white picket fence, the beautiful spouse, all the children, and feeling an emptiness and feeling lonely because you've never been introduced to yourself. So what I find in my practice with a lot of people when they come in and they're so depressed, and then other people will look at them and say, well, you have everything. What are what are you complaining about? Or what's your problem? Because what they do not have is a connection to who they really are and the divine consciousness, which is everything and everyone. You can feel very lonely when you've never been introduced to yourself because you're not going to find it in anyone else. It is only you, that you need to explore. And that exactly where I was when I first came to Swamiji 16 years ago. I I was a mother with a beautiful home, Mercedes-Benz, all the money, house by the ocean, not a house here, traveling, deeply, deeply unhappy. It had nothing to do with my lifestyle. It was a deep wound inside me from when I was little. And all of my dreams and wants and desires were so great, thinking all of this would bring me happiness, and it didn't. And no one could understand it. And then by some grace of God, I was invited to go to an LBP program. It was in New York at the time. And I went with a little trepidation and fear, not knowing what it was about. And I'd say the minute I walked in and I saw the Swami sitting in this orange, just eyes were sparkling and glistening, and I looked like such a curious way, saying, what is that? Like, what is that sparkle? What is that? There was such a freedom in it. There was such a beautiful, blissful freedom in that energy that was sitting there. And all I remember saying, I want that, So that started the process. And that weekend, we opened up all 7 chakras through these beautiful meditations and incredible mind-altering knowledge where you just get explosion after explosion of wow, wow, wow. If you make the connection, you start getting the answers that you've been praying for. And my experience was, I was just so blessed because I went in, a woman, and I was very unhappy, very fearful, very unhealthy, very unhappy. And I sat there and just, I, things were just being excavated out of me. I could feel a lightness happening to me. And I physically experienced change because I became a vegetarian. And this wasn't an idea that popped into my head. Oh, I'm not going to eat animals. It was a consciousness shift. It was a frequency change. Um, my body changed. My shape changed. I am, People thought I had liposuction or something, and I just shrank, especially in the Manipurika, this area here, where we tend to hold cortisol and stress. Um, and one of the most amazing experience, I had no desire to sleep. So I had amazing energy, which was unbelievable. So the weekend workshop, I never slept, nor did I feel tired. And at the end of it, when I came home, I was actually experiencing my life as the observer. So I could see myself interacting with my children. And what I thought I didn't like. And it was shocking to see the truth of how I was living. It was really, I was wondering, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong with my life? And now I'm actually seeing it. I'm observing and witnessing what I was doing and how I was talking to my children and how this woman was interacting. This was quite an experience that enabled me to make changes, significant changes, very, very quickly, because I didn't like what I saw, and I saw that that wasn't who I really was. So it was just an amazing experience overall, and that was the beginning. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Ma. Thank you for sharing how it all started. And
Yes.
now you've also covered what we want to present to our viewers today, which is the science of Paramadvaita. We understand that maybe we come to a point where, as you were saying, where we understand wealth and pleasure is not gonna cut it in our lives. But then what's the way to understand how to manifest more than that? How do we manifest our possibilities, and how do we manifest our powers? Through Swamiji's programs, initiations, especially the UAN Summit programs, each and every one of us has an opportunity to delve into this experience. And the first thing, as Ma Samarpani shared, the first thing that we start to experience is health benefits. Now let's look at health in the modern world right now. Right now, 76% of Americans have at least one chronic illness. 56% of Americans have multiple. And not only this, more people are suffering due to not being able to pay off their medical debt. $1 trillion in medical debt
Yes.
is the entire US US cumulative. And 41% of adults in the USA are finding that they have medical and dental debt, and 1/3 of Americans have postponed essential medical care just because they can't afford it. This is just some of the statistics of how people are experiencing health, and it's a major issue, especially in American society, and even in some of the wealthiest nations like the US, in United Kingdom, Australia, Canada. We are seeing the same issues: healthcare costs rising, and people being able to pay for it. And more than this, also the rates of depression, the rates of mental health disorders that people are facing. But what are the solutions that society is giving? Whether it is policies for Medicaid or health insurance that might reduce the costs of your out-of-pocket expenses, or whether it is the therapy, the going to a therapist and understanding, people are still facing a persistent problem on when it comes to their health. And Ma Samarpani, you have seen in your practice people experiencing very serious health issues, and
Yes.
whether it comes, and
Depression.
we were just discussing
Yes.
before. Yes, we were discussing before about drug abuse, addiction, about depression. Could you share about what is it that you have seen, and what people really are searching for right now?
Yes. Well, basically what has happened is this mental setup that something out there is going to fix me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't they don't understand what is going wrong, and we're in a society where the ailments are being treated, not the root cause of the problem. And
Exactly.
I feel, and I've seen this and I've heard Swamiji speak about this, that we are all suffering, most of us, from an identity crisis. We really just don't know who we are. We don't know our purpose. we're chasing after desires that half the time are not our own, and we get exhausted. We can't handle the emotions that are constantly running in the body. You really can't have an emotion unless you have a thought. And we're having 70,000 more thoughts a day, and most of these are happening in our unawareness. So clients come in plagued with obsessive thoughts that are happening, that are giving them insomnia, causing problems in the body, because the body follows the mind. It's all consciousness, but the body does follow what the thinking is and what the beliefs are. And needs to be understood. And so what's happened in our society and many societies is going for the pill, the drug, the drink, because basically what is happening with everyone is they need something to take them from pain to pleasure. It's that dopamine search for the dopamine effect, where in my practice, what I say from the very first day in this practice, nothing is needed from outside you. And this is Hinduism. This is the truth. Nothing is needed from outside of you. And so what you see is when we start working together, clients and I engage them in these universal absolute truths, this science of writing down the pains and really understanding what the confusion is they're having inside themselves, helping them make that connection to themselves. Healing happen because we're meant to heal. We are our own healers. We just need guidance and in the right, the right techniques, really. So I see a lot of children on psychotropics. I see a lot of adults on psychotropics. People that are drinking, they're shopping, or they're using drugs to escape from their mental pain. And I believe, and I know this to be true, that Vedic science absolutely understands the mind and how that mind is working. And that we are powerful. Where most people are suffering simply from just feeling powerless over controlling their body, controlling their health, controlling their mind. They're just in a state of powerlessness. And that's really something that starts in childhood. So, it all needs to be cleared out, right? So you can relieve them of this, and then they start to feel hope. They start to feel hope. They feel lighter. There's a little light there at the end of the tunnel. But one of the biggest crises I find also is that they're not children are not connected to themselves, and they're not aware of a greater, higher power. And I find that what is happening to us today is that we're making every consumerism is God, and we've lost connection to all there is and ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly. And actually, this is where Swamiji tells us the fundamentals that we have to address is bringing understanding at the cognitive. Our cognitions about ourselves need to be based in Hindu scriptures, need to be based in just feeling oneness with Paramashiva. Swamiji introduces the 6 levels of Paramadvaita with first the cognitive level. So I'd like to first let us watch.
In cognition level, emotional level, social level, moral level, spiritual level, environmental level. In all 6 levels, experience Paramadvaita. Listen. I'll explain step by step. Paramadvaita means experiencing the ultimate oneness with ultimate life, force, power, Paramashiva. Paramashiva is a living manifestation of what you can imagine about God and more than that. All the manifest and unmanifest and more is Paramashiva. That ultimate Paramashivas being, having oneness with that being is Paramadvaita. Paramadvaita means experiencing oneness with Paramashiva Paramburul, the ultimate Paramashiva, the ultimate supreme Godhead. Understand? The whole universe raises, stays, goes back into Paramashiva. Experiencing ultimate oneness with Paramashiva is Paramadvaita. Now, experiencing that Paramadvaita in cognition level happens by intense sadhana and spiritual initiation, by practice of Paramashiva Bhakti, Paramashiva Jnana, Paramashiva Vijnana. The devotion towards Paramashiva with the proper knowledge, right ultimate knowledge about Paramashiva and manifesting the powerful truths of Paramashiva in your life. All these put together makes you experience Paramadvaita with Paramashiva in cognition level. That is not enough.
Yes, exactly. How what Swamiji has introduced to all of us is 6 levels of Paramadvaita, and the cognitive level, the fundamental level that we all must begin with. It's like if a tree is growing, a banyan tree is growing, this cognitive level is just the seed that is just having the root come out. That is what is the cognitive level, where you have to found your roots in the sacred scriptures. What the sacred scriptures are saying, the fundamental cognitions, Paramashivoham, that we are divine ultimately, our consciousness is good. Every single powerful cognition that our Hindu scriptures is saying is makes up the cognitive level of the 6 levels of Paramadvaita. Now, Ma Samarpani, you have been in the UAN program and also from your last 16 years of experiences with Swamiji, programs, initiations. Can you describe how Swamiji initiates you into this fundamental experience that you are divine inside and this cognitive level, and how that manifests ultimately in your life?
Well, for me, initially, this was a difficult cognition to hold because of my past and my experiences growing up, which was traumatic. I had a lot of childhood trauma. I had a lot of SDHD, which Swamiji teaches, self-doubt, self-hatred, self-denial. That's the vicious cycle. We want to make that a virtuous cycle, right? So we have to get rid of the doubt. So it's all about your inner image. When your inner image is low, your outer image is compensating, showing the world something, but in here, you're not really at that level. There's a gap between these two, and it causes doubt. So you operate in life with a lot of doubt and not loving yourself. I mean, there are two things that I think will heal you completely. There is completion and loving yourself. But how do we do that if we carry all this
Yeah.
SDHD inside of us? So when we are in contact with Swamiji and he is initiating us into various beautiful initiations that are mystical and powerful and altering our consciousness and also removing karma, which is karma for me, I think of it as a deep-rooted thought trend that I'm holding. That is creating my karma. That he is just clearing, purifying, and bestowing grace. And there's enormous love in that experience, a profound love and compassion, which is incredibly healing. And that love will melt anything inside you that should not be there. And what happens is you start seeing, you understand that you are that. And that the mind, it becomes has less control over you the more that you are going through these experiences. I mean, they're so mystical, they're so extraordinary. What I myself have experienced, just having my Kundalini Shakti awaken, my sleeping strands of spiritual DNA vibrating, how I eat, what I eat, my sattvic vegetarian diet, the choices I make in my life, that I feel powerful. That powerfulness. I've moved out of victim consciousness. That's big. Because when you're a child, you are a victim sometimes. You are a victim, but when you carry those victimized beliefs inside you, in your adult years, you are responsible for your victimhood. And that has to be healed through completion technique. So that is a very powerful experience, because as I understand the mind, 8% of our mind is, our thoughts are in our conscious awareness. About 90% is not in our conscious awareness. That's the deep stuff that's hidden. But then there's an even little portion that is almost not accessible except through mystical spiritual processes and then a being in a super conscious state, the divine holiness himself, the SPH. You can go right to that spot and remove it. This is healing you of lifetimes of suffering. This is only happening in his presence. This is
Yes.
the most extraordinary experience to have. And when I reflect on my own personal traumatic experiences that were uncovered, that were healed by him,
Yes.
years and years of therapy, years and years of work on myself. He did it because he could see it, and he allowed me to see it and transformed it. When you're having victim consciousness, which a lot of us have, we tend to blame everybody and everything for what's wrong in our life, and that just renders you powerless. So when you complete with your past, and whatever that consciousness is, that victim conscious, whatever you've got that's holding you back, you become powerful over your own life. And that is the most extraordinary. You're sovereign now. You're thinking from in a dharmic way. You're thinking in a highly conscious way. You're seeing others as a reflection of you. You're living in an ahimsa, non-violence now, because you're no longer violating yourself. Self-hatred is constant negative self-talk. So when that leaves you, you become very fulfilled, just very alive, very connected, very aware. And I remember Swamiji said years ago, life is for others. And I grew up in Brooklyn. And I initially I thought, what? No, because in Brooklyn it's like life is, what do you mean? It's all about me. So this is a beautiful thing, because when you start to love yourself, you become selflessly loving.
Mm.
Not, and it's like you're just effervescing with love. So it can pour out on everyone. And it's just an extraordinary experience to have that kind of presence with people, rather
Yes,
than
ma.
how I was living in my early years, feeling like a victim and feeling like nobody understood my pain and everybody's to blame and everything's going wrong. You know, we create these realities based on what we're projecting from in our inner space. Life
Yes,
is
exactly.
showing up as a function of the space we're in. When we sit with an enlightened being, and you asked me to talk about that, going to Antigua for that program, after so many years of working on myself, you know, you really get to fine tune those parts of your egoistic self, that negative uh, ball and chain that is dragging you down. You get to fine tune and just cut that off. Just free yourself, really be liberated. Um, and this makes you an extraordinary being. And that's what the world needs, extraordinary
Yes,
being. It's one, it, the fulfillment is something that happens within us. And we become lights for others. And
yes, ma'am.
Swamiji is the ultimate light, the fire that, you know, lights the fire in us so that we can
Mhm.
also raise ourselves simply by eliminating the parts of us that are not,
Yes, ma'am.
you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And you're bringing up, and thank you for sharing also, and being so open about what you have been through in your past, in your childhood. Of course, Swamiji heals everything, but for normal people, it's not like a normal thing to be able to share that and to be able to openly say, I've healed from it. I have gone beyond it. That's really powerful, Ma. And not only does Swamiji pull out these extremely traumatic incidents and violence that we go through. But
yes,
Swamiji does one more extremely important thing, which is to environment that allows us to grow. And what I mean is the different aspects of the Charya Pada, or the lifestyle aspects that we are able to do, the Yoga Pada that we are able to do, especially that we are introduced to during the program, the UAN Summit, the yoga that each of every one of us does, it helps us not only heal from the trauma, but also build off of consciousness now. Now that you have a clean slate through the beautiful Malakamba yoga practices, through the Prathama Vinyasa Krama, the Dvitiya Vinyasa Krama and Tritiya Vinyasa Krama sequences that Swamiji and the Acharyas are taking you through during these during the yoga that happens
yes,
every single day during the program.
2 hours.
We build off of a beautiful consciousness.
Yes, because you're receiving your blessings, then the mantras, the visualization of powerful gods and goddesses, embodying this energy, moving the body with intention, and it's very the whole experience is very energized, and it's a deep practice. It's a very authentic practice. It is so authentic that it is this extraordinary feeling to go through it. I mean, I've had breakthroughs where, you know, may have been some frustration during the program because I hit something, you know, we're there to, you know, get free of whatever, right? It's holding us back. And so sometimes it's difficult to see that, because when you touch it, it's like, ouch, that hurts. I don't want to look there. But there's so much love and compassion, so much, so the consciousness, the vibration, so healing. It's so, you're being heard, you're being seen in a way you've never experienced before, and people are deeply longing for someone to listen and to see them and to understand what is happening and give them a technique and a pathway to move through and arrive more into the truth of your existence, who you are. It's a very authentic experience. This is real. This is very, very real, and very powerful. So when, you know,
Exactly.
it's difficult,
One of the other sorry, Marsha. One of the other aspects of the UAN summit and on what Swamiji teaches us and is the amount of focus that we need to put actually on the social level Paramadvaita. Swamiji has just given us that understanding. Then we have emotional level. The emotional level is being able to express the bhakti, different kriya padas, the different aspects of devotion, like puja, temple alankaram, or the um, offering of devotion, the offering of dance on a level. While in Hinduism, we often focus on, what we don't focus on is the social level of Paramadvaita, which has to do with all of the relationships that we have in the world. Now let's take a look at what our relationships are in the modern American society. The divorce rates in the US is 2.5 per 1,000 couples. And most couples are going through miscommunication, they're going through all these different types of disparities that will pull them apart. And yet the solutions that society provides, whether it is therapy, marriage counseling, whether it is family law and addressing the conflicts from the outside in, we're not yet addressing the solution to the problem. We are not yet being able to heal relationships, mend them, and give new energy to each person and bring people back to life, infuse new energy into them, and allow them to express a beautiful way of living. That is what Swamiji does through the social level of Paramadvaita, through enriching each and every one and understanding this level. And one of the major aspects of the whole UAN summit is the social level Paramadvaita.
When you enrich others, cause others with Paramadvaita, when you enrich others with Paramadvaita, everyone around you, your family and your team, with whom you work, with whom you share your life, whoever is part of your reality, if you enrich them with Paramadvaita, you will experience Paramadvaita in social level. Understand? That is why I insist, give so much importance for enriching and causing, because only through enriching and causing you will experience Paramadvaita in social level. The society you are living should be enriched with Paramadvaita for you to experience Paramadvaita completely. Listen, due to invasions and colonization, Hindus lost confidence to enrich others with Paramadvaita in social level. This is one of the biggest crime done to Hindus by continuously facing cultural genocide and violent conversion due to militant missionaries and missionary militants. Hindus lost not only the existed social level Paramadvaita civilization, they are lost even the courage to enrich others with the great principles, truths of Paramadvaita. Hats off to Srila Prabhupada and his ISKCON movement for breaking that fear, taking Harinama to every city, every town, and enriching people, demonstrating the importance of teaching the Sanatana Hindu Dharma's principle, Krishna Bhakti, in social level. All Hindus wake up to the truth. Just experiencing Paramadvaita in cognition level and emotional level is not enough. You need to enrich people with this great Paramadvaita, the science of living enlightenment, Jivan Mukti. Understand? If you don't enrich the society,
Okay, I'll get back. Yes, Swamiji is helping us understand what is the need for social level Paramadvaita. But what do we do in the modern society? In most of our relationships, we expect something else out of the other person. We
Yes.
want to have monetary exchanges. We want to only, and the solutions that society or the government or the different institutions are giving are not cutting it. They're not giving that solution, and ultimately they are causing more problems and steeping the problems that people are going through. Ma Samarpani, as a therapist, has seen many hundreds of couples who have come to her and been going through all kinds of problems. Ma, could you describe
Yes.
what people are going through and what
Yes.
of Swamiji's teachings are needed for them?
Right. So initially what happens, you'll get a phone call from one of them saying, I cannot do this anymore. I've got to get away from this person. So my answer to that is no, if you get away from that person, you're probably just going to get another person that's going to give you the same experience, because the problem is not that person. What we need to work on is what's going on inside of you. And this is a little difficult at the beginning, but I say just bear with me, because what happens with couples is they are mirroring each other, and they are mirroring the incomplete parts of each other in the other. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that let's say that my son keeps his room sloppy. And I go in his room and I say, this room is so sloppy. You need to clean this room up right now. You're not taking care of your thing. You're not being organized. You're just being lazy. And then I go into my own room and it's a mess. See, what we do is we often see in the other that which is not happening inside of us. We are looking at that over there and getting angry over there, but it's really something inside of us that needs to be worked on, healed, transformed, or whatever it is. So with couples, I just start out by saying, let us just start separately. I help to complete one, help to complete the other. Then I bring them back together when they can see that having love and compassion for the other, not blaming. Most people are blaming everybody and everything for what's not right in their life. And it's really about taking responsibility for what's not right in your life. The problem is, how do you take responsibility when you're still hurting because somebody abused you or hurt you when you were 3, 4, or 5, and you feel like a victim and you feel powerless? That is where completion comes in. You know, you're healing this, you're moving that child out of the past, you're coming into your mature self, responsible, integrated, and you're taking actions from a complete space, making different decisions, right? So you learn not to blame, but take responsibility. But it doesn't feel so hard because you're not hurting still. You're not having those wounds that hurt. It's very hard to act in a mature way and be responsible when there's a little hurting child, screaming child, terrified child inside you. And this is what the science of completion is about. You want to be whole, W-H-O-L-E. You want to get rid of the holes, H-O-L-E-S, which are those experiences that have punctured you. And, you know, basically the mind just latches onto this negativity. The mind just loves the familiar pain too. So, you know, all of this comes out in a completion session. So they understand, you know, they end up understanding. They need to look at they recognize their own pain and they want that taken, they want to be healed of that suffering that they're going through. And once that's alleviated, they can come together in a more mature way, be supportive, be compassionate, be loving, and support each other to complete further, because it's a practice that, you know, Shiva Sutras has given us, Swami has given us, because he's revised it, revived it, and that technique is something that you can practice on your own with the mirror. It's something you can do for the rest of your life, and it affects the external world. It's really mind-boggling to think, but this is the truth of it. And this is what Swamiji tells us. You don't need to be scratching out on the screen of life trying to change everything out there because you're already feeling powerless, right? So that's not going to work. The power is changing the inside, and the external world shifts and changes. And this has everything to do with relationships, wealth creation, health creation. It all happens inside of you. That completion technique in and of itself is huge. And having the ability to find the root pattern, the root is essential. And having a third eye opened, you know, people, I mean, when I go to the UAN, I can just say, I need to scan. I need to be scanned. You know, I'm hitting a wall. Something scan me, and it's amazing what we're able to see in the other, because we are living in oneness. It's not two-ness. There's no two. It looks like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but in reality, no. It's oneness. I love Swamiji always saying also, we have fantasy, fact, truth, reality. And if you live in fantasy, you can't access reality. You're not going to be able to live fully. And a lot of people are in fantasy. They're just asleep. They are just confused. They are feeling hopeless, helpless. They're suffering, and they don't know that pain is part of life, but suffering is a choice. these are very important understandings in life. And everything that we learn and experience in any of Swamiji's programs, especially this program that we're talking about, it's so powerful. It is extraordinarily fast. I mean, I've known Swamiji and I'm a acharya and a yoga acharya, and I live sattvic vegetarian lifestyle, and I do puja and yoga, and I, this is my lifestyle, right? I have to say, in the Swamiji just becomes more powerful, more graceful, more divine, more and more and more. He's just expansive. He just keeps expanding. And the benefits of being in his presence or being near him, around him, and being part of Sangha is huge. There, you know, this is important. It is important because it's changing the world. It's changing the world. It changes who you are, and that affects others.
Now, exactly, Ma. And if you want to experience, if any of you want to experience this, what so many people have experienced, you can sign up now.
Are you tired of the grind? Wish you could just escape for a month on a journey of self-discovery in the Caribbean? But you stop yourself thinking that would cost a fortune. What if I told you there's a spiritual retreat with authentic yoga, deep ancestral meditation, and Ayurvedic food absolutely free? Yes, you heard it right. This is the UAN Summit, a global forum where First Nations share wisdom to co-create ancestral solutions. Unlock your potential with daily yoga, over 20 transformative workshops, expert mentorship, and practical AI training, all fully funded. Get life-changing results in your health, wealth, and relationships. Don't just dream about a better life, claim it. Visit ecitizen.info/PSS to register now.
Yes. If you are interested in signing up for the next UAN Summit, where you can literally sit in Swamiji's presence and be able to experience for yourself this transformation, you can sign up. You can use the QR code that is projected now and go ahead and sign up immediately. If you'd like more information, you can always see and express yourself and reach out to anyone who would be able to answer your questions about the UAN program. Masamadbrini, as a therapist, has seen so many people, and I just wanted to ask you as a final question, Mom.
Yes.
What do you see as what people understand as therapy, and what is completion as what Swamiji is giving, and how Swamiji is giving that beautiful divine experience? What is the difference, and how should people approach completion in as opposed to therapy, traditional therapy?
Well, you know, the problem with traditional therapy is you're dealing with just your mind, but in a limited way. It's a very limited way. And it's not easy to go back. See, people, this is what clients always tell me. I don't want to go back to the past. I don't want to go there. And I don't want to relive it. So, you know, are you reliving it? Yes, every day. Every day that you make a decision based on an incomplete feeling, and you're feeling powerless, you're feeling afraid, and you're feeling abused, you're feeling used, you're feeling injured, hurt, scared, terrified. If you're feeling that today, which you are, because you're constantly reliving it. When you relive it in this manner, and through this technique, this beautiful science technique gifted to us by the Shiva Sutras, when you do it with intention and deep, deep healing energy, that is gone forever. And you are free. You are liberated from that past, which is creating your future. If you want future to be different, you can't have that past polluting the present moment. You have to be free of it because life is only happening right here, right now, right today. In the future, it doesn't have a chance. If you don't look inside at your negative beliefs, your SDHD, clear all that out, how can you create something different? We are that powerful. We can do it, but we have to look in and see what is there and clear it out. The completion technique brings you back to who you truly are, a blissful being. That's your default space. It's bliss. It's not something you have to get outside. It doesn't come from a drug, a bottle. That's misery. You might have bliss for 5 minutes, but it's not, you'll end up an addict, right? So your organs will fail or your life will fall apart. Bliss is your default space. You are a blissful being. It is covered up.
Yes.
And it has to be cleared out. And it is not cleared out strictly through the mind. We have multiple layers, 7 body layers, and people understand also 5 koshas. These layers, these are layers of your consciousness. And in there are all kinds of engrams and, thought patterns and cognitions, and that has to be cleared out. Swamiji is like a drill, drilling right through those layers so that all that garbage just gets freed from you. And that is the biggest blessing because you're returning to your original state. And this is really why we land on planet Earth, is to know our true self, to realize that, to live in that fulfillment and share it with the world. Yeah.
And you have that point that you're saying that we are blissful beings. Bliss is our ultimate reality, our original source. That's the Swamiji's teaching. And I want to, as we are concluding this beautiful 1 hour that we are being able to discuss this topic, I wanted to just conclude on a video.
So beautiful.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll just start that over.
Man on duty.
I don't know why I am born. What are my duties?
Man has no duty. Duty is 4-letter word. Man has only one responsibility: to live beautifully, to live happily, to live blissfully. No duty.
காக்க வந்த நித்யானந்த சாமி அவரே அவதரிச்ச இந்த நாள உலகமெல்லாம் கூடி மேளதாளம் முழங்க கச்சேரி வச்சு ஆனந்தமா போற்றி பாடி கொண்டாடுங்கடி.
Continuously made to believe you are male, female,
male or you belong to this religion, you belong to that community, you belong to this state, you belong to that country. You are just a liberated individual being, pure consciousness, who is supposed to relax into your bliss, who is supposed to enjoy the intense bliss and peace.
சூழுலகும் வெடிதுலகும் ஏற்றமுகமாக வாழும் நம்ம வாழ்க்கையில் தியானமது தேவை கூடி கொஞ்சம் தியானமதை செய்துவிட நாம பிறந்த இந்த பூமிக்கு தான் செய்யும் பெரும் சேவை சத்தியம் யாரு சொன்னா நம்ம சாமி நித்யானந்த.
எந்த மனிதனுக்கும் எந்த கடமையும் கமிட்மெண்ட்டுமே இல்ல. ஹோல் கமிட்மெண்ட்டும் இந்த உலகத்தை படைச்ச கடவுள் மேல, பிரபஞ்ச சக்தி மேல. மனுஷனுக்கு ஒரே ஒரு ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு, கடமை இல்ல. ரெண்டுக்கு டீப் டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கு. ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு. அந்த ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி அவன் எடுத்து செஞ்சா நல்லது, எடுத்து செய்யலனா ஒண்ணும் இல்ல. கடமைன்றது செஞ்சே ஆகணும். இட்ஸ் a 4 letter word, forcible word. டியூட்டி அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு இதுவே கிடையாது. ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி அப்படின்றது தான் ஒன்று இருக்கு. அந்த ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி என்னன்னா, இந்த பிரபஞ்சத்துக்கு வந்ததும் இனிமையான ஆனந்தமான வாழ்க்கையை வாழ தான் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி. ஆனந்தமான வாழ்க்கையை வாழும்போது தானாவே நம்மளை சுற்றி ஆனந்தத்தை நம்ம ரேடியேட் பண்ணிடுவோம். மற்றவங்களை டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ண மாட்டோம். ஒரு ஆனந்தமா இருக்கிறவன் வயலண்டா இருக்க மாட்டான். அஹிம்சைக்கான ரியல் வழி என்னன்னா ஆனந்தமா இருக்க ஆரம்பிக்கிறதா. நாம் ஆனந்தமா இல்லாம அஹிம்சையோட இருக்க ஆரம்பிச்சோம்னா மற்றவங்களை டார்ச்சர் பண்ண மாட்டோம், நம்மளை டார்ச்சர் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்போம். செல்ஃப் டார்ச்சர் இருந்துட்டே இருக்கும், மெசோசிசம் இருந்துட்டே இருக்கும். அதனால ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டெப் அண்ட் லாஸ்ட் ஸ்டெப் போத் ஆர் பீயிங் பிளிஸ்ஃபுல். அதில் தான் இருக்கு நம்முடைய வாழ்க்கையை இனிமையாகவும் ஆனந்தமாகவும் நடக்கிறது தான் இருக்கு. அந்த ஆனந்தம் அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்ற வார்த்தைக்கு ரொம்ப டீப்பான மீனிங் நிஜானந்தம். நிஜானந்தத்துக்கான வழிதான் தியானம். சாமியோட மெசேஜ் 3 வார்த்தையில சொல்லிடலாம். ஞானம், தியானம், ஆனந்தம். ஞானம் அப்படின்னா மெச்சூரிட்டி. ஒவ்வொரு மூமெண்ட்ல நம்ம ஒவ்வொரு சூழ்நிலையிலையும் என்ன டெசிஷன் எடுக்கிறது அப்படின்னு உள்ள இருந்தே இந்த ஞான டீச்சிங்ஸ், இந்த ஸ்பிரிச்சுவல் டீச்சிங்ஸ் கைட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கும். ஒரு லெவலுக்கு அப்புறம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இந்த டீச்சிங்ஸை குரு கிட்ட இருந்து கேட்டு கேட்டு அதெல்லாம் உள்ள ஸ்டோர் ஆயிட்டு உள்ள இருந்தே கைட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கும். மெச்சூரிட்டி. ஒவ்வொரு சூழ்நிலையிலும் இந்த எப்படி டிசைட் பண்றது, எப்படி வாழறது அப்படின்றத பத்தி நம்முடைய இன்னர் மைண்ட், இன்னர் விஸ்டம் கைட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கும். இதான் ஞானம். அந்த ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு போறது இதான் ஞானம். அதுக்கு அடுத்து அதை டீப் ஆக்கிறதுக்காக தியானம். இது ரெண்டும் பண்ணா ஆனந்தம் தானே வந்துடும்.
Swamiji's life has shown us how to live blissfully despite everything Swamiji has gone through, all the persecution, how to live and express complete pure bliss. That is Swamiji's first and only, and above all and everything else, Swamiji's life and message. And through the UAN Summit program, you can experience this as a true, pure experience within inside of you. Have you ever wanted to know what it's like to live completely blissfully? You can try now and sign up today. I invite all of the viewers to sign up now at the link that is provided, and you can see for yourself the transformation. Thank you so much, Ma Samarpani, for joining us today and being able to share with us from your experiences and your experiences, your professional and personal experience and opinions about what you have seen in your career and how Swamiji has literally made a transformation happen in you, and how you're sharing that with anyone you meet. That's really truly inspiring.
It is a great blessing to have the life I have, and it is absolutely because of my experiences and the healing and the love and energy that I received from my guru. And it has just transformed my life. It's a beautiful life. And what makes it so beautiful is I live my purpose, and healing is happening for many, many others. And taking people out of suffering, it's not a necessary thing in life. You can be free. And it's a free program. So you're not only doing
Exactly.
yoga, it's a free program, and you're having delicious Ayurvedic food, organic food, and you're having this high consciousness experience, this energy, Swamiji's grace, his processes, his wisdom, the teaching, the acharyas. It's all just amazing and out of this world. And if you can get there, get there. Yes.
Thank you so much, Ma. I'd like to thank all of the viewers for joining with us. And one more time, if you would like to experience this for yourself, sign up today. With this, I would like to offer my gratitude to Swamiji for making this available to each and every one of us, this pure, blissful experience just through initiation. Thank you so much, Swamiji. And with this, we will conclude today's program with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam.
Are you tired of the grind? Wish you could just escape for a month on a journey of self-discovery in the Caribbean? But you stop yourself thinking that would cost a fortune. What if I told you there's a spiritual retreat with authentic yoga, deep ancestral meditation, and Ayurvedic food absolutely free? Yes, you heard it right. This is the UAN Summit, a global forum where First Nations share wisdom to co-create ancestral solutions. Unlock your potential with daily yoga, over 20 transformative workshops, expert mentorship, and practical AI training, all fully funded. Get life-changing results in your health, wealth, and relationships. Don't just dream about a better life, claim it. Visit ecitizen.info/PSS to register now.